Yesterday, Bitcoin saw another incredible pump towards the $68,000. It looks like Bitcoin is going to start a big bull run now, but first, a lot of things need to happen first before we can confirm it. In this video, I'm going to exactly tell you what we can expect for Bitcoin in the coming days and what needs to happen so we can confirm the big bull run. There's a lot of interesting data coming into the market, and also the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs are showing a lot of interesting price action. I'm also going to have a look at the two altcoins Vechain and BNB, but about that later in the video. So watch this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to slap up that like button and let's dive right into the charts. So yesterday Bitcoin pumped all the way to the $68,000 and this is looking very bullish of course. And we can now see that Bitcoin pumped through this next big resistance on the daily time frame. And we have to paint this level green now because we are turning it into support. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this level, probably retest it as support and then aim for higher prices again. But of course we could also see a rejection from this level and that we're coming back to this next big support, and that will be around the $64,000. And that will also be very good to see a retest of this level, because then we can still aim for a higher low play and then we can just create more bullish price action to the top side. So for now Bitcoin came to this next big resistance and we saw a big rejection from this level. So this was also a very interesting place to take in some profits, as I'm always saying. So I'm always taking a little bit of my profits at the resistance, and that's exactly what I did yesterday. So taking profits at this resistance and then you can buy back lower at support, and this is especially how I make money in the crypto space. And if we have a look at this broadening wedge on the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is almost breaking to the top side, and we can see a huge resistance area coming into the market. We can see a lot of touch points here at this trendline resistance, and also on the lower side we can see this huge broadening wedge has a lot of support touches. And every time we touch this huge lower side support, I was buying more Bitcoin, and every time we came back to this huge resistance area on the top side, I was selling a little bit of my portion. So like yesterday, we came back to this huge resistance on the top side and I took in some profits, because we could of course potentially see a rejection from this level. But of course there's also a bullish scenario that we're going to see a break of this level. But I expect if we're going to confirm the break to the top side, we will retest this previous resistance as support, and from there I will enter the market again for Bitcoin, and then I have a risk-free trade to the top side, because I think the top side will be stronger then. But for now we can also expect a little bit of a rejection from this level, so I'm taking a little bit of my profits here. So my portfolio is now more or less risk-free. And yesterday the total spot Bitcoin ETF trading volume surpasses the 2.1 billion for the second consecutive day, and this is very bullish of course, and there is a lot of demand in the Bitcoin ETFs. And we can also see that in the Bitcoin ETF inflow, because yesterday we saw a 371 million of inflows after a huge day on Monday and Friday as well. And we can see that BlackRock was buying for $288 million. So this is insane of course. And these numbers look very good. And we can now see that we are coming closer to this $20 billion mark in the total spot cumulative inflow. And we're almost there, and we're now at 19.5 billion. So this is looking very, very bullish. And this of course is pumping up the price of Bitcoin. So let's see if we can end this week strong. And let's see if we can see another couple $100 million flowing into the Bitcoin ETFs. And if we then have a short look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see a little bit of a negative day, because Grayscale is selling a lot of Ethereum and only the Fidelity Ethereum ETF is buying. So we saw a total outflow of 12.7 million, and this was having a little bit of a bearish effect on Ethereum. And looking at this huge bull flag on the weekly time frame, we can see a huge consolidation after a lot of spikes to the top side from this bear market low. And currently Bitcoin is trying to break to the top side of this huge bull flag formation. But of course the week is not over yet, so we could also potentially close this weekly candle inside of this formation. But if we're going to close outside of this formation, we can prepare ourselves for a huge move to the top side, because we could potentially then confirm the breakout and then aim for exponential moves to the top side. And then the breakout target of this bull flag formation is $180,000. So this could be a very insane move to make for Bitcoin. And if we're going to break this to the top side, then the big bull run can start for Bitcoin. And I also discussed this daily chart with you on my socials, and we see a lot of interesting resistance levels to come in play. And these resistance levels need to break in order to become a little bit more bullish. And yesterday we pumped through this level around the $66,000, so this was looking very bullish. And now we're coming back to this next big resistance around the $68,000, and this is why I took a little bit of profit yesterday. So we could potentially see a retest of this resistance to turn it into support, and then we can see a continuation of the top side. And then the next big resistance, if we're going to break the $68,000, will be the $71,000. So this could be having a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin, of course. So for now, we are seeing a bit of a rejection. And if we're coming back to this next support on the lower side around the $66,000, I will buy more Bitcoin. So taking a little bit of your profits at these huge resistance areas is not a very bad thing to do, because that's how you make money in the crypto space. So let's see if Bitcoin can pump through this next big resistance in the coming days, or that we are going to see a retest of this resistance to turn it into support. And after this huge pump of Bitcoin, we can now see that Q4 is green. And we can also see that October is having a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. We can already see a rise of more than 6% in October, so this is looking very bullish. And in the past we can see a lot of double digits for October, so let's see if October can also see double digits this time. And we can see that October is one of the most bullish months for Bitcoin ever in the history. And also, when September was green, we saw a very bullish Q4 with 3 consecutive months of double digits. So this was looking very bullish. So let's see if this year can also end strong, and if we're going to see 3 consecutive bullish months for Bitcoin. And looking at this daily chart with the trend reversal, we can see that Bitcoin first was in this huge downtrend, and now we're seeing this uptrend happening for Bitcoin. And yesterday we created a higher high on the daily chart, so this was looking very bullish. And now we can see that Bitcoin is in this huge uptrend. And of course we created this higher high, so this is still looking very bullish because Bitcoin is still in this uptrend. So we could potentially also create a higher low from this level. And that could also be around this level, and that will be around the $63,000. And if we're coming back to this level and creating a higher low, I am very much interested into buying more Bitcoin for the long term. From there we can possibly aim for a new higher high, and so on and so on. And then we can just continue the bullish momentum to the top side. And of course we want to gain these previous highs in order to become more and more bullish. And these highs need to be gained in order to create a new higher high and a new all-time high eventually. And if we then zoom out to the monthly chart, we can see this huge horizontal resistance was coming into play because these previous all-time highs were acting as resistance, and now we broke it to the top side and we saw a huge monthly consolidation happening. And now this month is also looking very bullish because we can see a huge breakout happening for Bitcoin, and this could be the start of a huge bull run. So if this Bitcoin monthly candle is going to close above this huge trendline resistance, we can see the start of the next Bitcoin bull market. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Vechain. We can see Vechain was on the daily time frame in this huge falling wedge formation, and we can see multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and on the lower side as support. And we can also see these horizontal levels were coming into play, and this huge horizontal support level was holding strong. And after breaking out of this huge falling wedge formation, we can see a retest of this huge horizontal support level for Vechain. And this support is holding strong once again, because in the past we can see a lot of touch points here. And every time we touch this level, we saw a huge support level coming into the market. So this is looking very bullish. So now let's see if Vechain can come back to this next big resistance. And eventually we want to see a break to the top side, of course, a retest of the resistance to turn it into support. And from there we can aim for higher targets. And the breakout target of this falling wedge formation will be confluent with the top side of the formation, and that will be confluent with 5 cents. And if Vechain is coming back to this huge breakout target of 5 cents, that would mean an increase of more than 100%. But first, Vechain needs to break this huge horizontal resistance in order to become a little bit more bullish, and from there we can aim for high targets. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is BinanceCoin, so BNB, and we can see BNB is in this huge horizontal range. And we can also see this huge falling wedge formation was occurring on the daily time frame. And we can see a huge breakout a couple weeks ago. We retested this previous resistance as support, and from there we came up for higher targets. And from this bullish retest you could potentially make a very interesting trade. So you could potentially make more than 23%, so that was insane, of course. But for now, BNB is inside of this range still, and we can see this huge horizontal resistance is getting tested a lot of times. So every time we touch a certain level, the liquidity is getting less and less. So we could potentially see a breakout eventually to the top side, a retest of the resistance as support, and then aim for higher targets. And still, the falling wedge formation still has a breakout target of the top side of the formation, and that will be around the $710. So there is still some very positive upside for BNB to make. but let's see if BNB can break this resistance area on the top side again, or that we are going to retrace back all the way to this huge horizontal support area. So please give a like if you find the video useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.